All right, so I'm going to start with a little story, a little historical story. Back in 2008 is when the TRIP program was first started. And we, we're just kind of learning about what the DOT was looking for, and it was just kind of a different time than it is now. So I think the second trip call in the history of the program, New Image Towing got a rolled hot glue tanker that was starting to set as it was on its side. So we were at a training class with a wreckmaster instructor, and so they called us down there to come assist in whatever way we could. And so we go out there, we help. It's from dusk into the dark, very low visibility, and we had, very proud of that job. There were pictures that the Time Task Force had on their website, and I think about those pictures now and think about our mindset back then, and then where I want our mindset to go now, and that's what we were wearing on that trip call in the dark at night. And we wanted to look cool, right? So we had on black boots, we had on black pants, we had on a black jacket, we had on an all black baseball hat. And that's the way we dressed in the middle of the night. And it wasn't until the DOT came along and was like, hey, you guys need to wear something to make you more visible because it's dangerous out here. Cars are running over people. So you got to wear a Class 2 vest. So we all complained about it. We bought a bunch of vests. Tearaway, bought a nice vest, and we wore those, and it became the normal. Well, then they came along and said, well, actually, we need to be wearing Class 3. So you have sleeves, you have fitted, everything has to fit right. Can't be one size fits all. So we complained about it, we instilled it, we made it kind of the norm. And my point to all this is that we've been having other people, other organizations force us to be safe, force us to take care of ourselves. And I want to start kind of changing that mindset and think about how we take ownership of our own safety. Now, I'm not here to talk about what company policies are or anything like that. We will talk about what is required on a trip scene. But I want to talk about you guys taking ownership of your own safety and your own health, really, when it relates to PPE. So we talk about the difference in Class 2 and Class 3. So this is a Class 3 vest. So you notice it has sleeves. It's got the high visibility material, which is what's the yellow material, and then the retro reflective material. So you might see a shirt or something that's you want to buy and put a logo on it or something. You got to make sure that the tag inside of it says Class 3. And so, not that you have to memorize the numbers or anything, but just to give you a briefing of how they measure Class 3 or something qualifies as Class 3. It's 1,240 square inches of high visibility material, which is either the orange or the yellow. Only those two. And then 310 square inches of the retro reflective material. And that's the striping that you see. So all of our uniform shirts are all Class 3. They all qualify. That gets us by in the summertime. Obviously now it's really cold. Things can get a lot colder. So we have the jackets. These are Class 3 jackets, and then some. The black down here is just to kind of keep a little cleaner when you're rubbing up against stuff. But even without the hood, it qualifies with the number of square inches of high visibility material. So there's a little bit of difference. If you take a look at Blake over here, he's got on a shirt with lots of high visibility material, but no retro reflective striping. So that wouldn't qualify. He has a vest in the truck. He has what he uses in the truck when he's working on the job. Obviously very comfortable sweatshirt there. But it needs to be Class 3 when you're working on the roadway, and again, taking ownership, Class 3 all the time in my view. You want to be seen. Obviously, a Class 3 shirt, jacket, pants, whatever is not going to save you from a vehicle moving at high rate of speed, but you want to be seen and give yourself the best chance you can. The second piece of PPE I want to talk about, which is usually highly debated is leather palm gloves. So when we're working around chains, wire ropes, things get nicks on there, the chains can pinch. So leather palm glove, and there's lots of different styles. This is my favorite. Leather palm gloves are the minimum PPE required when operating in our world. You don't want to, just the little cuts and nicks you get in your hand, those will help protect from that. Obviously, something crushes or you have some kind of debilitating injury, it's not made of steel, it's not going to save you, but in most situations the leather palm will help you. So not the surgical gloves, those are great if you've got to do little things, you want to keep your hands clean, but they're not protecting you from anything but dirt or pathogens or something like that. Boots. So essentially we don't require steel toe boots. They have lots of different technology now where they're not all steel, there's composite, different types of boots that I highly recommend. But at a minimum, they need to be rubber-soled boots, which is helps you from trips and falls and slippage and all that kind of thing. But also just the boot structure to help protect your foot, give you a little bit of bracing at your ankles as well. So they don't have to be steel toe or steel toe compliant, but that is recommended. And the last thing I want to talk about is the helmets. So again, DOT came along a couple years ago and they're like, you guys have to, if you're doing any overhead lifting,
anything you get a finger at,
you got to wear a helmet. So we're like, well, we don't do that much. So we got the rotator out there, then we'll throw some helmets on. Otherwise, why would we do that? And then it turns out that the actual law or the regulation is that it's anything you can get a finger or anything under, you got to wear a helmet. So that's pretty much everything we do, from a light duty flatbed all the way up to the rotator. It's everything we do. So in the sense of taking ownership, I took a class on basically on hard hats, and we're talking about work on the interstate and the dynamics of what you guys do every day, right? And the hard hat protects you from a drop. So if you got the rotator, something picked up, and something slips off there, obviously this is not going to protect you from something that heavy, but that's what it's designed for, is something to fall and hit you on the head, and it's top-down protection. So in this class that I took, I was introduced kind of to the concept of side impact. And so the helmets that we used to carry, or that we all have probably now, are not side impact rated. So this is a Type 2 hard hat. So we, with the safety team, we decided to invest for the whole company in these Type 2 hard hats, which will help from side impact. Working on the side of the road, even doing a light duty tow. Something kicks off the road, hits you in the side of the head. I mean, that could be the difference in, we talked about death earlier. That's going to the extreme, but just an injury keeps you out of work, keeps you from being able to provide for your family, and could permanently disable you, all because you didn't really want to wear one of these. So again, I'm not here to say that you get hit by a car at 70 miles an hour, this is going to save your life, but that's the extreme situation.
But it could help.
It could help. It could help. And in the class I took, it was fire department based class where they talk about their structure fire helmets is all they wear, except for this department that decided to change. But the structure fire helmets weren't designed for side impact. So the fire department helmet saved the guy's life, but he's handicapped for the rest of his life because he didn't have the right kind of helmet to protect from a side impact. And there's some cool videos where they take these helmets on a mannequin with a baseball bat compared to a Type 1 helmet from the side and how they will just instantly disintegrate, and these won't. So these are not cheap Amazon helmets. These are top of the line, very comfortable. They've got the air holes in there to keep you, cool in the summertime. It's got the eye protection that's just built into it. Flip it out of the way. You know, we're doing jobs with oil dry and sweepers, and debris is getting thrown everywhere. This could save you from getting something in your eye, and I mean, quite honestly, permanently blind you in an eye or both. So again, this is one of those things where we decided it was time to take ownership in safety, and you know, I just think to myself how cool these look. They're very comfortable. I've tried them on. They're very comfortable, but I mean, if we had these helmets on every job we did to protect ourselves, to set the example for the other towers out there that are working on the side of the road, and they see us every time, and they're like, man, those guys are always wearing their helmet. Wonder what's up with that. That we could help save some of these guys that are not as well trained as we are by example, you know, leading by example. So at the last class, those who worked out with me got a helmet. This class, everybody's getting one. We got them in, we got our full shipment in, so everybody's getting a new helmet. We're going to start assigning these out, so everybody today is going to get one. And going forward, this is the new standard. Any questions or comments or stories or examples or anything like that?
What about for people who are going training other, you know, incoming employees? You gonna issue another helmet for them to give to the trainee while
Yes.
they're in training?
Yes, that'll be part of the initial onboarding. Yeah, we talk about, you know, DOT making us and company policies and all that stuff, but for me, it's ultimately, I put this picture of my family up there because I want to be the best husband, the best father. I want to provide for them the absolute best that I can because that's what they deserve. And you know, from a basic level, part of that's going home to them, going home at 100% capacity. So, you know, I'm here to encourage everybody to take ownership of your own safety and your own health. And wear this gear that we got. On trip, it is absolutely mandatory. They will keep us from getting our bonus on that particular trip. We'll get our first warning. We get 3 and we're out of the program. So, good point that it's not necessarily policy that you got to wear your helmet everywhere you go, but it is policy on trip call. You have to wear it. Again, just encouraging you guys to just make that part of your normal routine. You know, we talk about, we've said it before, get really good at the basics. If you've got a good basic routine that you go through every time, then it's going to raise your level of awareness. Maybe something that's more complex than you've trained for before, but if you recognize that in your ritual, in your pre-tow ritual, then, you know, maybe you'll know to call for help or get somebody that may have done it before. I mean, just about everybody here in the heavy duty division that comes across a bus tow, we'll call David Hand. He's our resident expert, and he hadn't even towed a bus in probably 30 years. But I thought it was more like 45 to 50 years. But I'm just saying, you know, you get to a bus and you're walking around and you're like, I don't think I've towed this one before. Maybe you just go ahead and make that phone call. So getting really good at the basics, PPE basics. That's my encouragement for everybody here. Anything else?